Hi everyone, I'm Heather. Welcome to Strings and Threads, streaming to you from my Dungeon of Dreams. Join me in the magical world of crochet, knitting, and all things yarn. If you're a fellow yarn enthusiast, hit that subscribe button and become part of our creative journey. Let's dive into today's project. Hi, welcome. Today's video tutorial is for my squid bags. These are perfect for gaming. You can store dice in it, you could store marbles in it, any game that you desire, anything that you want. There's different options, and I'm going to show you all the options in this video. There's the circle. This one already has marbles in it. The triangle and the square. These bags are so much fun. They're easy to make, but it does require that you already know how to crochet. Even though the concept of putting it together is easy, I don't show you in this video how to do the stitches. So you need to be able to chain, single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet independently to be successful in this video. And it's okay if you need to practice those stitches a little bit and then come back to it. If you can do all of those stitches independently, you're golden. The rest is very easy. So let's get started right into how to make those squid bags. These squid bags are easy to make, quick to make. They are so much fun, and it's a great place to store your games, your dice, maybe some of those rolling games. You could store those pieces in there. And this is really a fun thing. So what you'll need for this project, you'll need an H or a 5mm crochet hook. You'll need some medium weight black yarn, medium weight white yarn. Now, I don't have like the exact ounces for how much you're going to need, but it's not going to take much at all. It's just going to be a very, very small portion of this. These bags are not very big. If you had a small scrap of yarn, it may end up being enough for this project. And the white, you're going to need hardly any because it's only for the shapes, for the outline of the shapes. And you'll also need some parachute cord. This you can get at Lowe's, you can get at a craft store, and Amazon sells them. They sell them in multiple choices. I've got a huge bulk rate for them. This is all that I have left because I've been making a lot of bags lately. But you'll just need probably about 20 inches or so of paracord and 20 inches. I forgot to check the centimeters before I came on here. I know I have a lot of people ask me what that is in centimeters. It's about 51 centimeters. And then the last thing that you'll need will be a toggle fastener. And mine just has one big hole in the middle. Sometimes they have two smaller holes. That is perfectly fine too. I happened to buy this on Amazon in bulk, and so this was the cheaper of the two options to get the one big hole in the middle. So that's the only reason why I have that one. But if you had one with two smaller holes, that is perfectly fine too. You cannot, people ask me all the time, they say, can I just use an I-cord or yarn for the bag? And you can, it's your bag. I recommend the paracord because it is much more durable than using yarn. I have made bags like these for my sons ever since they were little, and they are now teenagers. And from all the opening and closing and opening and closing and opening and closing, the yarn I had to replace all the time, the yarn cords that I would make for them. But once I switched them to paracord, I have never changed them again. I've never needed to change a bag for them. So it's up to you if you're going to use it lightly or you don't mind changing it over and over. If it's in high use, then you can go ahead and use the yarn. But if you wanted something that was more durable, that's what the paracord will do. It'll be more durable, and most likely you're not going to need to change it out at all during the life of the bag. So let's get started. I'm gonna get this yarn ready off camera and come back. Sorry about that. I could feel that this was gonna have a big ball of yarn barf, and it did. So it took me a couple minutes to get this ready. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the magic circle. If you would prefer not to use a magic circle, you can chain 2, and then I'll show you what I mean. You can chain 2. And then put 10 half double crochets into the first chain that you made, or second chain from the hook. And by smashing 10 half double crochets all into one stitch, it will naturally make a round. And so you can do it that way if you prefer not to use the magic circle. I'll show you how I do mine. It's pretty simple, and I like it better because it pulls tight after you're done. When you do it the first way that I showed you by chaining 2, sometimes you end up with a little hole in the middle that, you know, isn't sealed all the way. But the way that I do my magic circle, I actually just start off as if I was doing a slip knot, but then I don't pull it tight. If I were to pull this tight, it would be a slip knot, but if I don't pull it tight, it's a magic circle. So now we're going to put 10 half double crochets into this magic circle. And I don't know if I said this or not, but this is not a tutorial for total beginners. I'm assuming that you already know how to chain, single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet for this tutorial. If you're not able to do those independently yet, just go ahead and practice those stitches. There are lots of tutorials. I have some tutorials that show what those stitches look like. And then you can come back and try this bag. This bag is easy to make, but it does require that you know how to independently do the stitches. And now I lost count, so let's see where I am. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you take the tail that you had from the slip stitch and just pull it as tight as you can. And you can see, if you're not familiar with the magic circle, you can see how it really closes that hole up tight, so you don't have any space. And we're going to attach with a slip stitch to the first half double crochet that we made. So we're starting with the first round having 10 half double crochets. Round 2, we are going to chain 1, and we're going to put 2 half double crochets, or an increase in every single stitch around. By the time we get all the way around, we'll end with 20 half double crochets. I'll do the first couple with you, and then both of us will pause the video right here, finish the round, and then come back once we have the 20 half double crochets for this round. So to increase or put 2 in the stitch, I am going to crochet my tail in. I always do that because I hate dealing with tails. So you're going to put 1 half double crochet and then another half double crochet into that same stitch. I'll show you one more. Half double crochet and then another one into the same stitch. You're going to do that for each stitch all the way around. So when you get to 20 all the way around, come back. All right, so I've come all the way around. I have 20 half double crochets now in this round. We're going to attach with a slip stitch to the first half double crochet and then chain 1. We're going to do, in this round, we're going to put 2 half double crochets or an increase into the first stitch. And then we're going to put 1 half double crochet, just a single one, in the next. That's the pattern that we're going to follow around. So you're going to put 2 or an increase, 2 half double crochets into the next stitch, and then 1 into the next. I'll do this pattern one more time with you, and then we'll pause and go all the way around and come back when we're all the way around. So an increase or 2 half double crochets into the next stitch. I know that black is hard to see, but that is the perfect color for these squid bags, and then 1 half double crochet in the next. But of course, you are always welcome to use whatever color you want. Continue that pattern around. You should end with 30 half double crochets in this round. When you get there, then come back. All right, so we're at the end. I have 30 half double crochets going all the way around. I'm going to attach with a slip stitch to the first half double crochet. And so we've completed 3 rounds, 1, 2, 3. For rounds 4 through 14, so that's a total of 11 rounds, we're just going to chain 1, put 1 half double crochet in every stitch around, so it'll still be 30 stitches, and then attach with a slip stitch to the first, and then repeat that until you get to round 14. So for 11 more rounds, we're not going to increase, we're not going to decrease, we're just going to put 1 half double crochet in every stitch around. So let's do that off camera, just so that we're saving a little bit of time on the recording. So pause here, build this up to 14 rounds, and then come back for the next directions. All right, I have this built up 14 rounds. I already attached with a slip stitch to the first, so if you haven't done that, go ahead and do that. This round is going to be the round that we will put the paracord through. So we are going to do 1 round of double crochets. You can see how you can weave in and out the paracord into this round. This is one that I've already completed. So this one, we're going to start by chaining 2, and then you're going to double crochet into every stitch all the way around. This is a bigger stitch that will allow us to be able to put the paracord or the I-cord, whatever you decide to put in. We'd be able to weave it in and out of this round. So let's finish this round with 1 double crochet in each stitch. You should end the round with 30 double crochets. Attach with a slip stitch to the first, and then come back for the last of this part of the directions. Okay, I just completed that double crochet round. Now to end this part of the bag part, we're going to chain 1 and put 1 half double crochet in each stitch around for 2 rounds. So we're going to, you can see it here on the bag that I have completed. This is the double crochet round, and then there's 1 round with half double crochets, and then a second round with half double crochets. You're not going to go any more or less than 30 stitches, so it should still be 30 half double crochets around, and then 30 half double crochets around again. And then you can cut your yarn and weave in the ends and finish the bag up. So let's come back. I'll do the paracord explanation next, but once you complete the bag, add the 2 more rounds of half double crochets, and then cut your yarn and weave in the ends. Then we'll come back and talk about the paracord. All right, my bag is completed. So you're going to cut either a 20-inch or 51 centimeter, they're about the same, piece of paracord. I already cut mine. And then you're just going to take it and weave it in and out of the double crochet round the way that you want to. I've seen people who skip 2, or they do 2 and go under 1, or whatever pattern you think. I just personally just like to go in and out of each one. So over, under, and then over on the next one, under. If you're wondering why I'm folding the tip of this, if you just put the tip of this in and out, it really causes this to fray. We're going to talk about the fraying of this and fix that problem after we have it threaded. But if you want to avoid a little bit of fraying while you're weaving in and out, if you just bend the tip and have it go in and out here, you won't get the fraying on the end. So I'm not going to show myself weaving in and out of every single stitch because that would be long and boring. So let's pause the video here, finish weaving our paracord, and then come back. When I got to the end of mine, there were 2 stitches left over, so I just left the 2 stitches. And next you'll want to line up the ends and kind of pull it so that the ends are even. And then take your toggle fastener. If you have one that has 2, you'll put 1 strand in each. If you have one that has 1 big hole like mine, you're just going to shove both ends in and through the hole. So it just takes a little finagling, but it'll go in. There we go. Okay, I'm pulling that toggle fastener a little bit on the tighter end so that I have space here. If you don't put a knot at the end of this, every time you open your bag, this could fall off. So if you have a knot here, it stops the toggle fastener from falling off the end every time you open your bag. So I'm just kind of doing a knot there for the end. And I'll show you, see the toggle fastener just goes to the knot and it stops. It won't fall off. If the knot wasn't there, it would just fall right off. And now these ends will fray. You can just leave it. It's probably going to be okay. But what I usually do, there's 2 ways you can go about it. One is burning the ends will cause it to stop fraying, but I've never done that. I don't really want to play around with fires, but if you're comfortable with that, you can burn the ends and they should stay. But what I do is I just get some white glue, just white school glue. I did it with this one. And when it hardens, you can see how hardened it is. It doesn't budge. It's not, I'm really trying to fray the ends here, and it's not going to fray the ends. You can see how stiff it is and how it's really got the ends secure. Nothing's going to happen there. This isn't going to fray or come undone. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. I'm just going to put some white school glue on the ends. And then it takes usually several hours, if not overnight, to dry. But once it dries, there's going to be no fraying. But of course, it is up to you how you want to handle these ends. If you do nothing, I think it would still be okay. I've never experimented with that and tried. But I just like the idea that these ends will not go anywhere. It'll just be fine. Okay, so next we're going to get out the white yarn and your crochet hook, and we're going to move on to the final pieces of this bag. Okay, now that we have the bag completed, what we're going to do is make the shapes for the front of the bag. So to make the shapes, we're going to use the white yarn, or of course you're welcome to always use whatever color you would want. We're going to be making I-cords, so if you are so inclined, you can create your I-cord with a lucite fork. But I am going to show you another way to make I-cords that you don't need the lucite fork. You can just make them whenever you want to on the go. So to make the I-cord, sorry, I'm going to have to put this up a little higher. You're going to need to leave a tail, probably maybe about 20 inches or so. And then put the yarn that's coming from its source over to the right, and then the tail, keep that to the left. You're going to put your slip knot in. So you have your tail on the left, your yarn coming from your source on the right. And to start, you take the tail and you bring it around to the left, or to the right. I'm sorry, let me start that again. Saying my directions correctly. You take the tail part and yarn over to the right. You take the yarn portion to your source and you yarn over above this to the left, and then you pull your yarn source through the loops. We're going to make 10 of these. So you take the tail and you yarn over to the right. You take your yarn source and you yarn over to the left, and then you pull that yarn source yarn through the loops. And that's 2. Yarn over with the tail to the right, yarn over with the source to the left, go through both of the loops, and that is 3. Sorry, I'm getting some splits in this yarn. Okay, so the tail to the right, yarn source to the left, and then go through both loops. And we're at 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn tail to the right, yarn source to the left, draw through both loops. Tail to the right, yarn source to the left, go through both. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 more. Tail to the right, source to the left. 7. Tail to the right, source to the left. 8. Tail to the left, source to the right. 9. Tail to the right, source to the left. 10. Okay, so now we're going to cut. My tail is still pretty long. If your tail is not, we're going to need a tail to sew on. If your tail's not very long, then cut a longer tail from your yarn source. But I'm just going to cut here and pull the yarn through. And then we can weave that in a little bit later. This will be for sewing on. And I know a lot of people don't like to sew, and I'm sorry that I didn't have a better way to do this, but let's start with the triangle. And so for the triangle, we're going to have 3 of these that are 10 stitches. And you're going to sew 1 across the bottom, 1 up here, and 1 up here. So I'll show you how to start the I-cord again, and then off camera we'll just make 2 more. So to start it, remember we're going to leave a tail. I left about 20 inches, which is, what did we say that was, 51 centimeters. You create your slip stitch, and then you leave the tail end side on the left and the yarn that's attached to the yarn source on the right. You take the tail and yarn over to the right, take the yarn source, yarn over to the left, and then you draw through both loops. I'll do 1 more, and then off camera we'll get 3 pieces total, and we'll do the triangle. tail side to the right, yarn over to the right, source side, yarn over to the left, and then draw through both. Okay, so let's finish 3 I-cords of 10, and then we'll come back. All right, I have my 3 pieces, and you're also going to need a darning needle, which is just a needle with a bigger eyelet so that yarn will go through it. A lot of them are plastic, but I have broken so many plastic ones that I went out and bought a metal one, and that's worked better for me. But if you're okay with the plastic ones, that's perfectly fine. Lucky you then. So I'm just going to lay it out to kind of give you the idea of how we're going to arrange them. Okay, so you can see how that triangle is going to look. So I'm going to start with the bottom one, the bottom part of the triangle. I'm threading, oops, of course it's getting splitty. I'm going to thread my darning needle. I might have to do this off camera if the yarn is not cooperating. There we go, yay. Okay, and what I'm going to do is you can kind of see the lines where the rounds are. To try to make sure that this is straight, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the 5th round, I'm going to sew it on. Now, it doesn't matter where you start. Just pick a side that you're going to call the front. So I'm not going to count in, oh, the 8th stitch in. If you're anywhere on that 5th round and you're comfortable with that being the side you're on being the front, then you are fine. And you want to make sure that you're careful not to sew the bag together. You want to still be able to open it. So you're not going to jam it in all the way to the other side. So I have my fingers on the inside and then my thumb out. Okay, so let me double check my rounds here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm right on 5. So I'm going to take my yarn and go in and then grab some of the bag and come up. There's no exact science to this, so it's not like, oh, go in the 3rd stitch or the 4th stitch. You're just going to go in, grab some of the bag, and then come back up. We just really want this to be attached, and we want it to be attached to one of the rounds so that it's straight. I think I got a little bit off on that one because I'm looking through a camera. Okay, now I just turn my head to the side so I'm not looking through the camera. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm still on 5. I'm going to go in and then come back up. Going to go in. I kind of went in on the stitch before. You don't have to. Just sew it in a way that makes sense to you. And I'm just trying to make sure that I'm still on the 5th round. So I'm keeping an eye on that. Okay, and then I'm going to come in, and this will probably be my last stitch. Just seeing where I'm coming up and making sure I'm coming up in a good spot. And then I'm going to come back down so that I'm on the inside. And on the inside, I'm just going to create a knot. Now, if you have a really long tail and you want to just keep using the same tail for the other pieces, you can feel free to do that. I like doing the pieces individually. with their own tail. That's just my personal preference. Some of you might say, why, that's too much work. It's just what I'm comfortable with. So, you know, you do yours the way that is comfortable for you. I'm going to be doing it with each individual piece with their own tail. And you can put a knot on the inside because it's the inside. You're not going to see it. Okay, so you can see where that line is now. And I'm going to sew the other two pieces on off camera because I'm sure you can see exactly how it's supposed to go on. So when you're done, it should look like a triangle. So finish yours and then come back. If you're waiting for the square, that one will be next, and then we'll do the circle last. All right, here's how mine turned out. I think it's pretty cool. So next we're going to move on to the square. So I have my blank slate here. And what we're going to do is we're going to make 4 of the I cords in 10. I've already done that. So if you need to make some more, you know, go ahead and pause it and make some more. But we're going to arrange them very similar to this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to put that one on the 5th round. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let me double check that. 12. Okay, so it's going to be on the 12th where the second one will go. 5, round 5 and round 12. And then these, the last 2, just fill in on the sides. And there's how the square should look. So let's go ahead and sew that on off camera, and then we'll come back and see how that looks. All right, here's the square. Here's the triangle. The only thing left is the circle. So what we're gonna do is start off with making an I cord of 40. Once you have an I cord of 40, then I want you to come back and we'll talk about how to put that onto this last bag that I, have. All right, I have the 40 I cords, stitches. Sorry, not I cords, I cord stitches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread my needle, which for some reason I put away. Silly me. Good grief. Got it. And I'm going to make a circle. Now, before you sew it, make sure that it's flat, that you're not twisted anywhere with it. That it is, see, this one is twisted. Okay. And then I'm just going to sew the ends together to make the circle. I think that will make it easier when you sew it on the bag to do it this way. Okay, and then just put it over the bag and sew the circle on. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, and then I'll come back and show you. All right, here's what I have for the circle. So circle, triangle, and square options all for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I encourage you to subscribe and share, and I hope everybody has a great day. Bye.